Despise goodbye.
Hey guys, and welcome back. So my last video before the finale review, still saddened by the idea that this series is ending. I love me some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but however, going forward, the one thing I can do every time I miss this series is go back and watch all these seasons instead of waiting for a new season to drop. Now I've done that repeatedly, but there's nothing like watching a new season, new episodes of this series. But focusing on the subject matter of this video, the title of this video is all about two things: my predictions for the finale of the season, and that's going to be the first section of this video, and then my discussion of the promotional photos that were released on the Disney website. Now these photos are so spoilery, so I'm going to give you ample spoiler alert before I start talking about them, in case you don't want to be there for that. There's a lot of speculation as well that I'm going to talk about when analyzing those photos, when looking at them, because I've got a lot of related predictions, like younger versions, for example, of characters that we've seen on earlier seasons coming back to the series. I'm not certain they're supposed to be that, but they do look a lot like those characters. But okay though, let's start by talking predictions. So prediction number 1. This team is going to be dismantled after this mission. However though, that doesn't mean that the entire team is going to die. A lot of people have assumed that's what it means, when Enoch said it right before he died, but then again, that was kind of explained in last week's episode. Not everyone is willing to stay, not everyone is willing to continue. They've already seen a lot. So yeah, all of them are gonna leave, all of them are gonna go their separate ways. Maybe one will die, maybe Coulson is gonna sacrifice himself one last time, but nonetheless, that's it. Now, if Coulson does not really sacrifice himself, then prediction number 2, he's gonna end up getting dismantled. That's what I think is gonna happen, and it's gonna be upon his request. He does not want to repeat this cycle, he just wants to be over with it. But here though is a critical piece of information, one that's extremely logical regardless, but also one that's based on the promotional photos. If I'm correct about my view of those promotional photos, then yeah, there's still Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. out there. I mean, they have destroyed the bases, but that does not necessarily mean that everyone was pretty much on campus. I mean, think about it. Some were probably on leave and some were probably out of missions. So that brings us to prediction number 4. These people are gonna start rebuilding S.H.I.E.L.D. with the help of Daisy. At this point as well, Daisy is gonna be one of the most experienced Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. compared to a lot of them. I'm gonna talk about that later when talking about the promotional photos and my guesses as to who is who. But nonetheless, I'm guessing she's even going to be more experienced than Nick Fury. If we were to possibly end up meeting a young Nick Fury on the series finale, some people are speculating that one of the guest starring names is actually gonna be a young Nick Fury. So yeah, she's probably gonna lead S.H.I.E.L.D. She's gonna be the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now when I say at this point she's more experienced than Nick Fury, I'm talking the 80s. So I'm assuming over here it is a possibility she's gonna stick to the 80s. But nonetheless, let's assume she does not. She moves forward in time and makes it to 2020. She will have already left a legacy in the 1980s where people are gonna end up, okay, you know what, come here, be director of S.H.I.E.L.D. We've seen you in action in the 80s and we know it. But that though brings us to prediction number 4. It is possible, even though far-fetched, that they're going to be able to jump to the original timeline, the Marvel Cinematic Universe timeline, and in that case as well, she's going to end up being the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Daisy that is. But there's that teeny tiny possibility that everyone has been talking about, and it might be a secret, it might be hidden, that Nick Fury is going to actually recruit her. I mean, I know I did mention on my trailer breakdown video that Daisy, or Chloe Bennett, did deny on Twitter that she's been cast for an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series or movie. But then I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, even though this as well is very far-fetched, I don't think it's gonna happen, but it is possible. This is one actor, Samuel Jackson, they're not gonna slap the name of on the synopsis, make him into a surprise at the end of the season, and then he's gonna walk in and recruit her. Again, far-fetched, but possible. Now moving on to prediction number 5, Daisy is gonna end up with Sousa. That's gonna be an amazing parallel to Avengers Endgame. The man thought dead, ending up with the woman that he loves, and that woman happens to be the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the 1940s. That would be Cap and Peggy Carter on the movie, and this would end up being Daisy and Sousa on the series. But prediction number 6, Fitz will come back with a plan to reverse Simmons' full-on memory loss. Prediction number 7, Cora will be the one to actually finish Nathaniel or to help Daisy. Now this has got many scenarios stuck to it, so pretty much scenario number 1 is Cora is still on the evil side at this point. She's still angry at everyone and at everything, and she's still working with Nathaniel, but she's got some doubts. You can tell, by the way, based on that moment right before the kiss at the end of episode 11, she had her own doubts about Nathaniel. She didn't even seem to want to kiss him at that point. So yeah, her anger might be shifting, her loyalties might be shifting, and might end up shifting completely by the end of the finale or sometime during the events of the finale. It is going to be, based on the trailer, Daisy versus Nathaniel, but I think Nathaniel at some point might end up having the other hand. That's scenario number 1, and at that moment Cora will come in to help her sister. But there's also scenario number 2, she's not just going to help, but she's rather gonna finish Nathaniel. Like, you tricked me, you lied to me, you made me turn into this person, and then you went around and killed my mother, the woman who loved me, the woman who really cared for me, and the woman I wanted to make proud. Because in the end, if you notice that conversation between her and May on last week's episode, she wanted to make her mother proud. Regardless of all the anger she seemed to harbor towards her, she still wanted to make her proud. She still wanted her approval. Moving on though to prediction number 7, I think that's either going to be Yo-Yo or May or both that ends up taking out Garrett, and that's going to happen on the 12th episode based on the synopsis guest starring list, because he's not there for the 13th episode. But finally, prediction number 8, and then we move on to those promotional photos. So prediction number 8, we're gonna be seeing more guest appearances not listed on the synopsis. Either the ones that I got out of those photos, if I were right about my prediction that these are those characters, younger versions of those characters, or we're gonna see Nick Fury as per that theory that a lot of people have, and I think that's a very limited possibility, extremely limited, like less than 1%. So there's finally a choice between 3 other characters: Grant Ward, a Koenig, because you know the speakeasy and everything, and finally the Ghost Rider. Now I'm gonna explain why the Ghost Rider in a little bit here before the end of this video and after I talk about those promotional photos. But nonetheless, the biggest prediction on my list is actually Grant Ward. Grant Ward has been mentioned on last week's episode. Grant Ward might be his top. You know, Coulson might end up telling Daisy or whomever, or doing it himself, you know, stopping by and pushing Grant Ward in the right direction. With all the changes that have happened, that might be a possibility in this timeline. But pushing him or not, it is possible that after they make it forward in time to 2019 or 2020 or 2021 even, the big surprise at the very end, let's say Daisy ends up being director of S.H.I.E.L.D. like I assumed, is this agent welcoming her as the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm Grant Ward, by the way. But that said though, I'm done with the predictions part. If I think of anything else, I'm going to post it in a community post, unless it really warrants a video, like it's something big, it's something major, it is something that requires a lot of detailing and a lot of explanation, or maybe multiple predictions. But it is time to give you one big, major spoiler warning, because the next part is going to be really spoilery.
This is the last mission together, isn't it? Get ready! Fire!
This is what we were fighting for.
Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the series finale Wednesday on ABC.
Okay, so let's talk the promotional photos. Now, the promotional photos were posted on the ABC website, on the Disney Press website actually, and then they were removed a couple of hours later. However, though they've already circulated all over the internet, almost everyone has seen them. If you haven't, once again, this is your spoiler warning, because they do contain a lot of details out of next week's episode, and then they give us room for speculation on a lot of other details. Okay, let's start small and then go big. So on this photo we see 2 major details. The first one is that helmet on that round table, and that helmet is pretty representative of the Star-Lord helmet. It is though the very same helmet that Deke was wearing on the premiere of Season 5, you know, the one that had us go crazy when we watched the trailer, like, oh my god, we're getting Nova on the series, that helmet. But okay though, the second detail. That woman, the long hair, the eyeglasses, right behind May. I mean, we're barely seeing her, but does she not hit you all as a younger version of Victoria Hand? Yes, she does. Yes, she does. And it is possibly that she is a younger version of Victoria Hand. It's gonna be kind of ironic if she were as well. I mean, this is the woman that put a kill order on Coulson's team. You know, kill them all, but only bring Coulson to me when she thought they were Hydra, and now she's about to be led by this team. But okay though, let's move on to something bigger. So on my review video of episode 11, I thought the blood work was about Simmons being pregnant, and apparently I'm probably correct, probably in the right, and that is probably true, because in this photo, she is pregnant, and on this other photo, we see this kid, who's probably gonna end up being their kid on the series, because she is appearing on scenes with Fitz and Simmons, as you can see here. Now, I'm ignoring promotional photos with a lot of similarities to one another, so what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to focus on the promotional photos that actually matter, that actually add value. So the next one over here is this one where Daviiz and Sousa are holding hands, which means that they're taking their relationship forward, that they're already going there, and that this season is most probably going to end up with them ending up together. But photo number 5 though, Fitz attached to this equipment. This and the next one opens up a lot of debate, a lot of room for debate. Is he gonna be uploading his consciousness, for example, to the Chronicom ship or to the framework? That's how he's gonna be doing his thing throughout this season. That's how we're gonna discover he was doing his thing, that is. Or has he always been connected to the Zephyr, like he's basically been behind the wheel, been helping them all the time, while in the framework or the Zephyr system? Now, I think the people who theorized he might have uploaded himself into some system, or sort of uploaded himself into some system, because that's probably irreversible or not easily reversible, not in his own at least. I do think they were right. I think he was connected to both actually, the Zephyr and the Chronicom ships, or one Chronicom ship. I think that way he would have known when to jump, when to push the time drive into jumping. He was actually controlling that from a distance, in some kind of a telepathic manner. For the next 2 photos though, we've got Coulson smiling, we've got May very upset, very angry, very unhappy at least, and I think over here these two are related. I think that Coulson is basically giving her one last farewell, and she's basically pretty angry. She's basically unhappy because she's losing him again. Again, this is my speculation and only mine. We've got photo number 10, a conversation between Deke, Daviiz, and Simmons in the same place, or something akin to the same place, where Daviiz fights Nathaniel on the trailer of the episode, and I think this is basically one of the Chronicom ships, and this is Daviiz after she's helped these two escape. There are of course multiple photos of the sword, but I'm not going to dwell into each and every one of them. I'm gonna move to this photo with Jeff Bell, the producer of the series, one of the producers of the series, with this shirt that's pretty much giving me Ghost Rider vibes. I guess you can see the resemblance here. Let's hope this was an inside joke while Robbie was on set filming this episode with the rest of the team. But okay, I told you I'd circle back to that helmet, and I'm circling back to that helmet because guess who's this guy? This guy underneath the helmet. It's none other than Fitz. So Fitz is the one who created this helmet, and he probably did it as well in the original timeline, you know, before Simmons traveled back in time, before they changed the timeline, before everything became this new timeline. If you think about it, it is actually a pretty neat piece of detail. I mean, this was the helmet used by Deke on season 5, his grandson, and it was just a creation of his grandfather. We might not have known it, he might not have known it, but it was a Leopold Fitz trademark. But okay though, photo number 14. They've done a young John Garrett on this season, they've given us a young Gideon Malick, even if momentarily, on this season, and I'm thinking here that these two guys in the background on this photo could possibly be none other than Alexander Pierce and Nick Fury, younger versions of the two of them. Now I think this would be interesting, this would be funny because, you know, knowing that Alexander Pierce is actually a bad guy, actually Hydra, also knowing Nick Fury, like, hey, you were the guy who was my boss, the guy I respect too much, but now you've got to take orders from me for the next bit. You could also imagine Coulson in that case being all nerdy, all geeky, drooling over Nick Fury. Like, hell yeah, baby, I'm talking to my mentor in his younger years. But okay though, we've got a couple more photos. Could these photos be about the creation of Diana, the testing of Diana to be more precise, or could they be about the creation of the helmet? Because that thing looks like a prototype of the helmet, or a first piece in the building of that helmet that Fitz is going to be using on this episode when he meets back up with the guys, like after they are done with the mission, or close to them being done with the mission. Also the one that Deke used on season 5. So yeah, it's possible it could go both ways. It could be about Fitz, it could be about Simmons, it could be about the helmet, and it could be about Diana. I just have a feeling as well, the way in some photos Simmons is sitting in front of that apparatus alone, and in some others with Fitz, that Diana is connected to that helmet. That's how he's gonna restore her memories, push Diana to bring up those memories that she lost at the end of last week's episode. But okay though, with that said, I've shared over here what I wanted to share, what I set off to share, so let me know in the comments down below what you think of these promotional photos, what you think of my predictions. Let me know what your predictions are as well, and let me know how you think the finale is going to be ending. Let me know as well if you did like this video by dropping it one of those much appreciated likes, subscribing to this channel, and make sure while you're at it to enable notifications in order to get updates whenever I upload a new video, publish a new community post, or start a new live stream. But until the next time that you tune in for another one of my videos, thank you so much for tuning in to this one. Stay safe and have a great day.